Kia ora, good evening. A 32-year-old Southland woman was killed in a head-on car crash near Balclutha late yesterday afternoon. Beverly Joyce Watson of Riverton was killed after two vehicles collided on State Highway 1 about 10 kilometres north of Balclutha at around 5:30 p.m. The driver of the other vehicle, a 59-year-old South Otago woman, was taken to Dunedin Hospital but was discharged today. Police say it was raining at the time of the crash and road conditions were wet. The road was closed overnight and this morning, reopening at lunchtime after a scene examination. An investigation into the cause of the crash is continuing and police say it's too early to speculate on what may have caused it. Candidates' names will be randomly listed on ballot papers for voters in the Dunedin City Council election later this year. After being advised studies have shown names higher in the ballot lists got more votes, councillors decided to randomise papers, meaning each ballot paper will have names listed differently at random. In the south, two councils have already decided and two are still to make a decision. Gore District Council will discuss the order of its ballot paper at its council meeting tonight. Environment Southland decided a few months ago that it would continue to list candidates' names alphabetically. Southland District Council has also already decided to continue listing candidates alphabetically, while Invercargill City Council is yet to consider the issue. The briquette plant at Mataro will remain operational in the short term amid ongoing talks between Solid Energy and Australian company GTL Energy, but will be watched closely by the Gore community. That's according to Gore Mayor Tracy Hicks, who says it will give the plant an opportunity to prove its worth after 6 months of uncertainty.
I think it's good that there is a stay of execution, I guess, for want of a better word. And there's an opportunity for the plant to prove itself.
And what impact do you think this decision will have on the community?
I guess it's actually been quite an interesting 6 months with the way that things have unfolded with Solid Energy, and I think there's quite a bit of disappointment within the community about how it's played out. So I think that the community will be looking at what's going on with the plant and very interested to see if it does actually prove to be what the plans were for and take it from there. So,
$100 million of Southland farmland has been earmarked for sale. What is this going to mean for the Gore community?
Well, it's certainly a sizable chunk of land, and it's a sizable chunk of land that has two interesting aspects to it, I guess. It's some of the best producing land in the country in terms of producing protein, but it also contains one of the largest deposits of lignite in this part of the world. So it's a very valuable piece of land, and it will be valuable for whoever the owner is, whether that continues to be with the Crown via Solid Energy or whether the Crown decides to sell a whole lot off. Now, there's lots of speculation out there. I don't know that there's any definite plans for that particular land at the moment, but yeah, there's certainly lots of rumours.
Are you aware of any interest in the land at this point?
As I say, I've heard lots of rumours, but who would know? I certainly await with interest any change of ownership that may come along.
And what are your hopes for the plant in the long run at this point?
Oh, I'd like to see that after all the investment and the time that's gone into to putting the plant to the state it's in now, that it actually does produce the goods, and there is a good product comes out of there that can be sold, and there's a really good market for it. And if that ramps up into a different scale of operation, then so be it. But it would be a shame to see all the investment, the time, the tears that have gone into getting it to this point for the investors to be wasted.
An international education report released today shows New Zealand is in the top 10 of OECD countries with the highest proportion of tertiary qualified adults. The OECD's report, Education at a Glance 2013, shows in New Zealand 39% of 25 to 64-year-olds and 47% of 25 to 34-year-olds have a diploma or higher qualification. However, the report also shows more than 40% of those who enter a tertiary program do not graduate at the tertiary level. The report compares education in 34 OECD and 8 other countries using data from 2010 and 2011. The majority of working New Zealanders are satisfied with their jobs and manage to achieve good work-life balance. That's according to the Survey of Working Life released by Statistics New Zealand today. The survey found 85% of employed people were satisfied or very satisfied with their main jobs. Just 1 in 20 were dissatisfied or very dissatisfied. Permanent employees were asked how likely they thought they were to lose their jobs in the next year. 17% said they thought there was a medium, high or an almost certain chance. The survey is based on a sample of 14,500 people. Stay with us after the break. Patients at Gore Hospital will soon have no shortage of visitors with a new initiative set to start. Welcome back. A new partnership between 6 Southland secondary schools, the Southern Institute of Technology and Telford Polytechnic is helping students prepare for their future. I spoke to Kate Leabody of Gore's St Peter's College about the initiative.
The schools in the area were in a really collaborative frame of mind, so it was great to have the 6 schools, Fiordland College, Menzies, Northern Southland College, Blue Mountain College, Gore High School and St Peter's, all working together so that they're all reasonably small schools, so that all of their students could get a better option and a better staircase up to where they wanted to go, really.
So tell us about the courses that are on offer and the education that they're getting from this.
They come here 1 day a week, they come on a Friday, they're offered somewhere around the range of 22 credits, as if they were doing one subject within a school, but they do it all under 1 day. We've got construction, as you can see behind me. We've got manufacturing technology, where they're making grass carts, and then they're going to host the South Island Grass Cart Championship at the end of that. They've got the service industry, which they're doing table service, bar service, that kind of thing, food safety. That's run by SIT as well. So those 3 are run by SIT, and then we've got the primary production sector, which is run by Lincoln, Telford's campus from Lincoln, and they are doing introductory to agriculture skills.
So this fits in with the government's priority?
It fits in with the government's priority, yes, and they have got these 5 different, 6, then it's going to be 6 soon, different pathways, which lead right to university. So the students here are not opting out, they're opting in, and they really need to be capable of getting level 2. Some of them will go on to university, so they actually have a whole lot of choices within this here. It is not putting them on a track that they can't get off. The government initiative for youth guarantees, it's really becoming part of that system that they've got. So everybody's in employment or training between 16 and 19-year-olds. So they're in the first steps of that, really.
How is it funded? The schools that are involved are very widespread. There must be a fair bit of time put down to travel, and not to mention the equipment that you're using.
Well, I think we're very lucky to have the polytechnics that we have, because they are funding the majority of it. We're funding our own travel, and the schools are funding some of my salary to actually run these courses.
A new initiative is set to be introduced at Gore Hospital, which will see volunteers providing support for patients, helping to ease the burden on existing staff. Due to start in August, the St John Hospital Friends Volunteer Service at Gore Hospital will help provide some additional TLC to hospital patients, according to Gore Hospital Chief Executive Carl Metzler. He says there's a definite need for the service and it fits well for both parties.
Makes sense having a volunteer on. We can be pretty thinly staffed at times, and so the extra hands won't go amiss, and I think it also builds on a really good working relationship that we have with St John's and Gore.
He says there's always a need for non-clinical and patient support services that fall outside nursing duties.
The staffing can be really thin at times on the ground. Having an extra set of hands, helping out with cups of tea or making beds, reading to kids whose mum and dad may be tied up in the A&E with something, is a huge contribution for us. We're always short-staffed, so any extra bodies is going to go a long way to helping.
He says a significant proportion of Gore Hospital's patients could benefit from the service Hospital Friends will offer.
Most of our patients are elderly, and so they do tend to live alone and be quite isolated often, or family live a long way away from Gore in the bigger centres, urban centres. So I think the volunteers have a significant role to play in terms of keeping people company and just checking in on them.
It's also an arrangement that works well financially for all involved.
There's no cost to the hospital. We've agreed to make an annual donation to offset some of their costs. So we're very grateful to St John's, obviously, who are covering the cost of uniforms for volunteers and some of the training that will have to be put in before they come on site. So a big thanks to St John's for their generosity, really.
Volunteers do not get involved in patient care or treatment, but will provide patients with company and support however they can, according to Vicky Kelly of St John Gore. She says recruiting of volunteers is now underway and says they're looking forward to having hospital friends operating in Gore.
The service already exists in Invercargill and Dunedin hospitals all throughout New Zealand, so it's going to be nice to have it going in Gore Hospital.
She says 9 volunteers are required to work Monday to Sunday, 4 p.m. till 8 p.m, and says they'll need some special qualities to fulfil their role.
The volunteers we are looking for will need to be caring and have empathy for families and that sort of thing.
Volunteers will undertake special training as part of their recruitment. Currently, there are over 800 St John Hospital friends volunteering in 25 hospitals across New Zealand, and it's hoped to have volunteers on the ground in Gore Hospital in the next few months. Margot Sutherland, South Today News.
Dozens of people gathered to celebrate Matariki in the south this morning. 60 to 70 people celebrated Matariki at a special breakfast at Mirahuku Marae in Invercargill. Matariki is the Māori New Year, marked by the rise of a cluster of stars known as Pleiades, or Matariki in Māori. The breakfast is an annual event which has been running for more than 5 years. It was also a chance to celebrate the recently completed renovation of the marae's ablution block and kitchen facilities. And that's it from news. Coming up in sport, Zero Fees Sharks action from the weekend. That's after the weather next from your news team. Good night.